Hey you, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this weave. Before I get started, if we look really close, I made an oopsie. These two parts right here are not the same, but we'll fix it when we get to that point. That's going to be quite later on in the video. And here's just some snowfall from the other day. It was absolutely beautiful. Had to get a shot of it. Alright, let's just jump right in. We're gonna get 4 pieces of 22 square wire, cut them about 8.5 to 9 inches long, get them nice and straight, make sure they're all flat next to each other, and then we're gonna cut a piece of 26 round wire, about 3 feet in length. Just make sure you have some good length. And we're gonna start by wrapping all the 4 pieces of square wire together. Make sure you get the round wire nice and tight around the square wire. And then we're gonna have what I do. Oh yes, the 4 pieces of half round wire. I'm using, what am I using? 21 gauge half round. We're gonna cut them about 9 inches long, and then we're gonna put them all next to each other, make sure they're nice and flat, all the same direction. And while you're holding this wire in between your fingertips, you're gonna give it a nice little bend upward. So you're gonna make sure they're all flat, give it a nice little bend upward, so that when you lay them on top of the square wire, you know, it'll sit nicely and you can just easily relax and then take that round wire and wrap all 8 pieces of wire together over the top, like so. Really easy stuff right here. I think the main issue here is, you know, the wires like to shift. You know, just gotta stay calm and relax, take it nice and slow, really use your fingertips and, you know, using the wire and bending the wire into its shape before wrapping it around. It's not like string where you can just pull and it's nice and tight. You have to really bend the shape to make it nice and flush. So now that we have all the wires wrapped together, it's a good solid foundation. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift that top wire up, just a single top wire up. We're gonna let the rest of the round wires stay down next to the square wire, and we're gonna wrap it twice. Very simple, just one wire out of the mixture. Now that you've wrapped it twice, we're gonna pull up the next wire, pull it straight up. Excuse my poor camera filming. I'm just trying to get nice and close so you guys can see what I'm doing. So we're gonna lift that second piece of wire up, and then we're gonna go around again 2 times. Pretty straightforward. Keeping it nice and tight, nice and snug, going at a steady pace. Gonna lift up that 3rd wire straight up, and then we're gonna wrap it around 2 times again. Then we're gonna lift up that last piece of wire and go under that piece of wire. We're gonna do 4 wraps so that it creates a little bit of space in the pattern that we're doing. And use our pliers, start crimping everything down. Be gentle with your pliers and the wire. You don't want to damage anything, just gently press everything down. Easy, eh? I think it's a better idea just to use your nails rather than your pliers. I always, go a little too heavy on the pressure. So now, once all that's done, we're gonna pull that bottom wire down again, and then we're gonna wrap it, go around twice with our round wire, and then we're gonna pull down that second wire. So we're going back up with our wire, and then we're gonna wrap that second wire around twice. Make sure your wires are nice and straight. Crop them down if you need to. Then we're gonna pull down. Oh wait. See what I did there? I put too much pressure. And I made a little oopsie. No worries. We're just gonna continue going. We're gonna pull that third wire down. Going back up top, and then wrap it around twice again. So before we were subtracting the wires as we went, and now we're adding the wires back on top, going up our little scale here. And then we're going to take that last wire from at the top, lay it down next to the other wires, and wrap it around twice with our round wire. So you should end up with something like this. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to add a little crystal. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift all the wires up. All the wires. Lift them up, start wrapping the squares. I'd say, depending on the size of the crystal, you just want maybe 2 or 3 wraps just ahead of the size of the gem that you're using. So now, choose your gem of choice. The first one that caught my eye was this little green one. It stood out the most, very bright and colorful, so I decided to use that one. And test the measurement. I put my crystals upside down, so the flat side is up, and that's the only way I can really work these gem settings at the moment. I'm working on some other styles, but this is the most successful, or the one I've had the most success with, and it is definitely the easiest. So as you can see, the wire comes maybe like 2 or 3 wraps, just the silver wire. just comes out just a little bit more past the crystal. So it's going to be a nice and tight setting. That crystal is not going anywhere. And with the half round, you're going to split them into two different sides. So one on the left, one on the right. It's going to go over the top of the crystal. You're going to give it a little bend for the shape of the crystal, and then using your nails, we're going to press very gently to make sure the crystal is nice and tight. You know, the first couple times doing this, it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but the more you practice this, the more success you're going to have, and the easier it gets, really. So it's not too shabby right there. And we're going to wrap it around twice, and we're just going to mirror the opposite side. So what we're going to do is lift up that top wire again, lay down those three bottom half round wires, and we're going to wrap it twice. And then we're going to lift up that second wire in line and wrap the rest of the wires twice again. So it's just copying the opposite side, and we're going to create the same pattern again. So we're going to wrap twice, lift up that third wire, wrap it twice again, use your pliers, make sure everything's nice and snug. Lift up that last piece of wire, we're going to wrap it twice again. Actually, that last wire, we're going to wrap it 4 times. We're going to create that space once again, so that bottom wire has some length to it once we lay it back down. So we're going to lay it back down, make sure it's nice and flat on top of that silver, and begin doing what we did in reverse. So we laid it down, wrapped it twice, and we're going to lay the third from the bottom, lay it down over the silver, make sure it's nice and flat, wrap it twice again, pull down that second wire from the top, make sure it's nice and flat, then wrap it twice again. Last but not least, the top wire, you just lay it down and you're wrapping all the pieces of wire together again. And soon we will be arriving to the point where I made an oopsie. And to avoid that to have everything symmetrical and, you know, have it well done per se. I'll tell you guys what to do. So now that we have all these pieces of wire wrapped, what we're gonna do is lift up all the round wire, and we'll, when we get there, make sure everything's nice and flat, all pretty, very nice, not too bad. I think the skinnier wire that you use, the cleaner, I guess it'll be. This is all I had right now, but I still really like this design. Okay. Are we there yet? Alright, so what we're gonna do, I think this is where we're at now. We have all the round wire, or half round, excuse me. We're gonna lift all the half round wire pieces up. And now I'm currently trying to figure out what I was doing. So right there, I laid this round wire, that last round wire, all the way down. And you don't want to do that. What you want to do is, just like how we were adding another crystal, lift up all the round pieces of wire up, or half round pieces of wire up, and wrap it maybe 4 times, and then lay the that bottom wire. So right there, I'm just wrapping it, you know, straight down. That's not what you want to do. And you'll see later on when I show it, or if you go back to the beginning of the video, you can see exactly what I did. It doesn't look the same. And then, you know, so we're gonna do under the 4 pieces of half round, we're gonna do 4 wraps, lay the bottom piece, wrap that twice, and then the third from the bottom, we're gonna add that one, we're gonna lay that one down, wrap it twice, the second from the top, lay that one down as well, wrap it twice, and then the first one, we're gonna lay it down and then wrap it twice. And if you can see like what's going on in the video, you can only see like 3 solid bands, and that was the mistake I made. You know, it's not a big deal, but I just thought I'd bring awareness to it. So instead of having 4 solid bands on this right side here, I only have 3. But on the other side, you'll see how it's different. And then I lifted all the pieces of half round up, began wrapping the square pieces of wire just to finish it off. And then what I did was I took my half round, all the pieces of half round wire, just to finish it off. I gave it a slight bend and began to wrap it around the square pieces of wire. And then I snipped it at the top, so nothing sharp is on the inside of the ring band. You know, everything's on top and nothing will scratch or snag, which is what we're looking for. So I think I made another oopsie. I didn't catch myself recording doing the opposite side, but you could see right there I have 4 nice strong bands in the ring band from the round wire. See, look at that, 4 strong, very visible bands. But if we take a look at the other side, we can only see 3. So if you do what I said earlier in the video, you'll have the same thing on both ends. And then, you know, finish off the opposite side doing the exact same thing. Gave it a little bend, all the half round wires gave it a little bend, and then began wrapping it around all the square pieces of wire. And then make sure everything's nice and flat. Snip it off at the top. And that's basically it. So you don't have to use this as a ring band. I just really like this design for the ring band. But you could definitely use it in other like other designs like pendants, earrings. Just make it much smaller. You don't have to do the whole shebang over here. Play around, mess around with this weaving pattern, and you know, get to crafting. Start making crazy stuff. You can do a lot with this pattern. This is just a basic, very basic video of a technical pattern, I guess I could say. So if this helps you expand your crafting, wire crafting abilities, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me some comments on what I could do better. I am open to, you know, advice. It is very much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Oh yes, a very important thing is the ring band, the inside of it. It's not very perfect. It is what it is. Like I said, using a smaller wire might be better, like a 28 gauge instead of 26. But this is absolutely beautiful. I really like this design. I hope you guys do too. Thanks for watching. Peace.